from Bass Hole Studios in Hollywood, California. You're listening to I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one, so let's talk about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
He's an asshole, sir.
He's an asshole.
Hey assholes, welcome to I'm an Asshole. My name's Doug Bass. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast today. Wow, I'm excited. Today's guest is actor, comedian Scott Krinsky. You know Scott from the hit TV show on NBC, Chuck. He's best known for playing the role of Jeff Barnes on that show. We all know Scott Krinsky. He's been acting forever. He does stand-up comedy, everything. He does everything. So I'm excited to have him on. Make sure you follow our show on Clubhouse. We are on Clubhouse right now in the Comedy Podcast Club. So if you aren't a member of the Comedy Podcast Club, make sure you hit the little green button and become a member so you can check out all this great comedy podcasting stuff. Here's Scott. Scott, what's up, man?
Hey.
How are you?
How are you?
You see yourself on the monitor and everything?
Yeah.
Scott is taking, we are doing a live video feed of this as well on YouTube and Facebook Live. So if you want to check out the video, you can always go over there as well. How you been, man?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
Can you just hold a little closer to the mic? There you go.
Yeah, can you? How's that?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Now you sound like a deep.
Yeah, I sound like
Now you sound like you're in the studio.
I got my
yeah.
DJ voice.
You got your DJ voice on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how you been, man? What's going on? I haven't
I'm
seen you in
good.
a while.
You know, just weathering the pandemic.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, a lot of people don't know. So Scott and I were next door neighbors for like eight years or something like
yeah, I
that.
can't believe it's so long.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
We won't say where.
We won't say where. No, we're not going to give out. We're not going to give out Scott's address. That way, people, fans, come and hound him and stuff. So yeah. I mean, have you been? So we all know you from NBC's show Chuck. And how many seasons did that run?
That ran 5 seasons.
5 seasons.
Yes.
That's a good run.
Yeah, it was a good run.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
barely.
Great show.
Thanks.
Great show. Everyone always loved. I always say like, "Oh, yeah, Scott Krinsky." Like, "Oh, Chuck, I love Chuck, love Chuck." You know. And then wasn't there talk of that like coming back at some point? Like there was all those like
Well,
rumors
it was
and stuff.
like, since we've finished our 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's rumors like that with every show now.
Yeah, I know.
And I probably will be the last to know.
Yeah, I know. The actors are always the last to know. I feel like it's
Or
like
certain actors.
they call you up and it's
certain
like,
actors are the last to know.
right. You want to be a part of this? Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I think these days anything's possible.
Right.
You know, I can say that I know nothing about anything.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, especially with like, I'm trying to see if this Instagram live's working. Anyway, I'm trying to think like, because I know all these shows do come back, and there's like a life, after cancellation or whatever, end of series now, and like you never know. It's like maybe something will come back in a few years. It's like now that there's Netflix and Amazon streaming and all these things, people want to see these shows come back because they love the characters. A fan wants to know why Zach Levy. Am I pronouncing it? Zachary, yeah. Yeah, he's Chuck, yeah.
Chuck.
Why he didn't get you in the Shazam movies, or the Shazam movie.
Because we worked together for 5 years on Chuck.
Yeah, you should automatically be in every project that he does.
Because
right?
you work with someone
I know,
that
yeah.
you're gonna.
I know, yeah.
That's almost more reason that you'll never work with them on anything else.
Right.
Because you worked with them for 5 years.
It's like we did that. Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because I grew up watching Shazam. Did you
I mean, I wasn't
You were young.
I wasn't so familiar with it, but when it finally came out, when it came out, like I was like, oh, I'm not a big like comic book person, but I know like the main, Batman, Superman. I know the big ones, Spider-Man. But then when Marvel Universe started coming out, I was like, oh, all these characters that I'm not aware of, or Shazam, DC.
And there was ISIS.
Yeah.
Which, for obvious reasons, are probably not going to do an
No,
ISIS movie.
yeah. I mean, unless they change the name or whatever. Yeah. But Shazam was good. I liked
Yeah,
Shazam. I thought that was
great.
well done. That was one of the better ones in the DC universe that was done properly. I would say, I guess. Yeah. Now you were also in the movie Tangerine.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like a big deal when it came out. It was Sundance, right?
Yeah, it went to
Yeah.
big deal at Sundance.
Yeah. That was a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, again, who knew?
Yeah. So that was like something where just another audition as an actor came
No,
in. Did you work with the director before?
No, I hadn't worked with the director. I was a big fan of the director, Sean Baker,
Mm-hmm.
and because I always, I'm a big fan of indie films, and I knew of his films, and particularly I had recently watched Starlet, which was one of his films.
Right.
And it's so funny because I watched that film, and then it was like a month later that I got a call from this producer friend that I had met at a festival, and who we had hit it off, and he was like, I want to work with you someday.
Yeah.
Put you in something I'm working on. And he calls me, it was around Christmas, New Year's, in between Christmas and New Year's, and it's like, I got this new film I'm producing. He'd already worked with the director, Sean Baker,
right.
And he said, there's a great part for you. I pitched you to the director and sent him your stuff, and he wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I talked to him and sent me, what script there was, because a lot of some of it was sort of improvised, kind of based off of an outline. And I think that happened like on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I was shooting the film on Sunday.
That's awesome.
So
that's and it wasn't that was a film that was shot on iPhone. Is that correct?
Yeah. The
first film shot on an iPhone.
The
whole thing was shot on iPhone.
Feature film.
Right.
That pop.
Yeah.
I guess legit feature film.
And that was always interesting to me because I think a lot of people went to go see that when they heard it was like shot entirely on an iPhone. A lot of people went to go see it for that reason. Also, I thought, and I was like, that's an interesting, it's a great film, and it's like then people were like filmmakers were like, oh wow, like I got to go see this thing.
And it was iPhone 5 at the time.
Right.
So you think about
how long ago was that? Yeah, like how many iPhones
what you're doing now with your phone.
Right.
I just got the iPhone 12.
Yeah.
And it's like they did that with the 5.
Right.
And but it's funny because I knew he was an amazing director.
Yeah.
I was a big fan, but I only worked a day. I think the whole shoot was.
And you shot it right down the street from
yeah, right around Hollywood.
Yeah.
And and I knew he was an incredible director, but you just never know.
You never know. Yeah, you go in. It's like we're both actors. We go in for all these auditions, and you never know what certain projects might become. You do them.
Yeah. So it was and then
did you go to Sundance with the film?
Went to Sundance.
Was that your first time there?
No, I'd been there. I'd been there before for Slam Dance.
Okay.
And God, I think maybe that was my second time at Sundance.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I've been there.
That's still on my bucket list to go
Yeah.
check out Sundance. That's something I want to go check out at some point. Just as a fan
Yeah.
of films,
And it's fun because you're watching the film. I saw it for the first time at Sundance with the audience.
Okay.
Seen it for the
So that
first
was like
time.
your premiere screening of
Yeah, for me,
yeah.
too. And I had no idea what to expect.
Right.
And it was really, what was really interesting is it wasn't until after the film screened that there was a Q&A, and they told everyone that it was shot on an iPhone.
Yeah. After
people were like, whoa.
They're like, what? Everyone ran out with their iPhone to go make their own movie.
Yeah.
Submitted, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I mean, the movie is so interesting, and it's technically iPhone all the way. It's it's pretty amazing feat that they accomplished with that film. And now a lot of people might not know this. I mean, you also are a stand-up comedian as well as an accomplished actor. And how long have you been doing stand-up as opposed to acting? Did you start with acting first and then go to stand-up?
Yeah. So I mean, my reason for getting in the business was always I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
I was always, I had all these character actors that I just loved.
Yeah.
Growing up, that I was big fans of, and they were kind of my inspirations, since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So I came out to LA, and I always did have this. I always wanted to do stand-up too. It was always in the back of my head. God, I want to try that. I guess everything that just scares the fuck out of me.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm obviously stand-up comedy is very scary in its own way, I would say. I mean, I'm always scared going up there.
Yeah, no, I didn't say I'm scared. Now I like to call it like I don't like to say use nerves either, nervous and anxious. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you do a play or something, you know, it's
right.
Like if you're not anxious or nervous or something,
a play is always like I haven't done a play since college. Or no, I did one play out here in LA, like maybe my first or second year living here. But it's probably been like 18 years since I've done a play. And so I'm like, that's something I might want to try at some point again, because it's like, oh my god, it's like how do we even do this again? I forget.
But I did so I was out here doing I was doing a lot of plays with this little fun theater company,
right.
Group of friends in the 90s, and then we kind of disbanded. And I was also doing the Groundlings, which I know you did that program, and I went through a good portion of the Groundlings program. Learned a lot there, and then my time ended there with that program, and my theater company was kind of disbanding. That we had done a lot of stuff together in the 90s, and so it was kind of the perfect time around 2000 that I think this is the time to start doing stand-up, because I really, it was nice to do something solo where you didn't have to meet anyone.
Right. You don't have to rely on anyone.
Just on your own.
It's just you, which is also the scary thing, because if you start bombing, it's all on you, obviously. It's like, but it is the nice thing about stand-up, where it's like, I'm gonna go do a mic, I'm gonna go do a show, I'm gonna do 5-10 minutes, and like, I don't have to get like a group together of sketch actors or improv, or everyone's trying to make a film or whatever. It's just go out and do it, which is the nice part about stand-up, I would say. I'm gonna see if anyone on Clubhouse wants to jump up to the stage and maybe talk to Scott Krinsky. I'm gonna send people invites. We got a couple people in here. I don't know if they're gonna be shy or if they're gonna speak. I don't know. We'll see. We invited them up. I don't know if they're gonna jump up or not. But if anyone has a question for Scott, feel free to raise your hand or jump up on stage here. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm putting it out there. In Clubhouse. Yeah. And we also have a phone number if anyone's watching on YouTube or Facebook. They can call in and speak to Scott on Google Voice. So there you go, folks. That's what it is. So this is the Asshole Show, Scott. I'm an Asshole, it's called, obviously. It's right behind your head. You can see it there on the monitor. So this is where people come in and they talk about a time in their life that they may have been an a-hole. It can be an isolated incident. It can be a chunk of time in your life. Maybe you're one now and you're dealing with it. Maybe someone thinks you're one and you're not. All those kind of things. So is there a specific story that you'd like to share with the audience today?
All of the above.
All of the above. Well, I mean, it's.
I always like when someone thinks you're an asshole, and they've never met you.
Right, yeah.
You hear from in the comedy world too,
Well, yeah. I mean, comedians are like notorious assholes. A lot of them.
Your friends like that guy, man. He was bragging on you. I'm like, what? Like, I never even met him.
Yeah.
I like his comedy. What is he?
Yeah, but someone.
What's his problem with me? What did I do?
They always have something to say. It's like they always got to throw their 2 cents in, a comedian, I would say. It's like, because they're trying to either do a joke or get one up on someone and whatnot. So yeah, it's. I mean, I keep my arm's length at certain comedians. I'm always like, all right.
Security.
Especially when you start running shows, like live shows and stuff. It's like,
but yeah, I mean, so I've done some.
It sounds like you have a lot on your mind.
No, speaking of
assholes, you can't even pick one out.
No, speaking of assholes, okay, this is kind of a funny story.
All right.
I'm trying to think like of a funny asshole story.
Right.
And then I was like literally thinking of the word asshole, and I was thinking, there have been times where I've maybe been in the CVS or the grocery store,
right,
where I've just like let one rip in an aisle.
Just let one
let it
rip.
rip, and then
Alright,
like kind of
we have a sound effect for that. I have to use it because I programmed it. All right, so
you got a good part.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Like I've let one rip,
Right.
and then I've kind of, moved my cart down the aisle a little bit, and well, first I waited to make sure it was a good one,
So you purposely
knowing I had to
yeah,
I had to let one rip,
right.
and like I couldn't hold it because how do you hold? You can't keep holding.
You can't always hold it. No, I mean yes, but like there's times where like I'm like, oh my god, I have like really bad gas, and it's like, and it smells. And
so what I did, it's funny. So now if you're ever seeing in the grocery store,
yeah.
So I let it rip, and then I moved down the aisle, and I love to watch like who gets
offended or who gets away.
No, who gets charged with the guilty. Being guilty of that nasty fart, because like I'm already like I'm down the aisle, and I see like some lady or some old man's coming through,
and then the heads start turning,
and they're all looking at him.
Because he's standing where you were.
Yeah.
But there's always the danger of that, like the timing on that, because it's like you fart and it may come with you if you move too fast or whatever, like you gotta.
Yeah, you can you can also like just like adjust your pants and let it air out. Well.
Have a nice air pouch for it to escape.
Yeah, and then I get a kick out of like watching everyone look around, like who did that, and then of course they, the kind of weirdest looking person gets blamed for it. Like really beautiful people don't fart.
Well, that's what's it. Well, even that, it's like if someone's like, I rarely see someone like audibly say something like, "Oh my God, was that like if you're in public, like
Oh, I don't do it loud though.
No, it's a silent but deadly, right?
You have to disguise your fart.
A muffled fart or a silent but deadly.
Just let out a big cough or something.
A cough fart.
Like,
that move.
Yeah. And then people usually say "bless you" because they
bless you.
Sneeze.
Bless you. Your farts are horrible. Bless you. There's definitely ways to disguise them, I would say. Yeah, but it's like, but even like at the store, like it's like if someone smells that they're walking through the aisle, it's like, I don't know, like people they'll make faces, I'm guessing, and be like, oh, but like I don't think someone would be like, did you do that, old man, or like like point the finger.
No,
like,
they'll just look at them really mean, with a nasty look.
Yeah. The word.
But really, it could have been anybody there,
Right.
All I know is I'm gone now. And I'm just an observer.
Cassie, my wife Cassie, she did a story where she talks about like farting purposefully, like on the airplane, like so someone won't sit next to her or whatever. Like, like letting.
Will she let them hear it too?
I don't know. You have to ask her. I forget what she said. I don't know if it's audible, but it's definitely like a silent but deadly kind of thing. Which I guess if you're gonna pull one of those, that probably is a good spot to do it if you don't want to sit next to someone.
Yeah. That's the worst, actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On an airplane.
Oh, I've sat next to people that have farted on airplanes. Like that's. God. And some people don't even have any. They don't care. Like I hold it in on an airplane, or I'll go to the restroom.
Yeah, go to the restroom.
But like, there's some people like I've sat next to people where like they're just coming out, and it's like, man, what did you eat? Like this is an airplane.
Then you gotta like, mess around with that.
The air filter thing. I mean, the airplane is kind of like when you sit on that airplane, you are kind of thinking to yourself like, there's like how many people on here? Like 200 people, whatever, and it's like everyone is farting at some point on this airplane. It's like we're all in this tin can in the air full of farts.
And if you can smell a fart in an airplane,
oh yeah, it's
yeah. That makes me think like how good are airplanes at filtering out this virus?
I don't think so.
Filter out a fart.
That's something I didn't understand because like I took an airplane during COVID or whatever, and like I was like, this is probably the last place I should be because it is like everyone's like I don't know, the air vents, they have the special filters or whatever, but I don't know, man. Like everything's just circulating.
Well, they recycle the air, they say.
They recycle it, but yeah, it's like I was actually thankful to wear a mask on the airplane because I was like, oh, if people are farting, I'm not gonna smell it, or like if the guy next to me has BO or something, it's like I'm not gonna sit there and smell it the whole flight.
No, that's worse. Like BO is even worse
because that's there the whole time. A fart has a moment of time. There's a moment of life. And that's it. Until the next one comes.
Yeah, BO is like permanent.
BO is permanent. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Yeah, and it's like I don't understand how people don't take better care of themselves when they're getting on a flight or whatever. Like take a shower. You can't be sitting next to a bunch of strangers for 6 hours.
Are you okay with taking off your shoes?
I'm fine with that as long as
you have socks on.
I keep socks on. I actually wear I've started doing what is the easiest foot slipper kind of shoe that I can wear on an airplane?
You wear your Ugg boots stuff.
Ugg boots, yes, absolutely. Yeah, Ugg boots. No, I got these new shoes. They're called Hey Dude or something like that. They're kind of like these moccasin slipper things, and I'll wear those, and they just slide right off, and that's comfortable on the airplane. But anytime dress shoes, anything like that, I don't wear that shit on an airplane because my ankles swell up too. Do your ankles ever swell up on an airplane? With the
I don't have the ankle.
Yeah, I have a bad ankle to begin with.
Yeah.
But even the pressure, the altitude, makes my ankles swell up a little bit.
I
have to
bloated.
untie.
My stomach gets
You gotta if I wear regular sneakers, I'll feel them getting tighter as we accelerate.
Yeah, I don't have that, but I definitely get.
Yeah.
I haven't been on a plane for.
What was the last trip you took?
God.
Right before the pandemic? Is that what you did? You went somewhere?
I think I went to Florida.
Okay.
Where my parents are.
Right.
Now. I didn't grow up there, and that was probably Thanksgiving. So wait, 2020 was the pandemic. So
because you're from the DC area,
yeah,
right? Originally, yeah.
2019 Thanksgiving is probably my last flight.
Yeah. Last flight, yeah. And what's the first trip you want to take once?
I'm going.
You're going?
I'm going in 2 weeks to see my parents.
Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going. Yeah, we're going the end of May to go to Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be my first flight, and I'm not too worried about it now because all my friends like you have been flying during the pandemic already.
Well,
and
yeah.
Never had a problem.
No, exactly. Yeah. No. You still. But now everyone's vaccinated, and everyone's still being careful with the masks and everything.
Yeah.
And Florida is oh man, it's a whole different country almost down there. No one's wearing masks.
Well, especially where my parents live.
Where do they live?
They're near Boca.
Boca, okay.
And Boca Raton.
Yeah.
And it's always a whole different experience with my parents because they live in these, retirement communities and and everything's gated,
Everything's
gated.
That's how my parents live on a country club, golf course.
It's kind of like
Naples.
that.
Yeah.
So I always feel like I'm in, jail, senior citizen jail.
Senior citizen jail. Yeah. Yeah. You can't do much. It's I can stay there 2 or 3 days.
Oh my God. Yeah. I love seeing my parents.
Of course. Yeah.
But and now you can't. They do have a really great clubhouse.
Yeah.
And
do you play golf?
I don't.
No.
But my dad plays golf. But my dad plays golf at 6:30 in the morning, and I don't wake up that early.
No. I'll do the golf range with him, in the country club, and I'll go there and shoot drive the range balls out or whatever for a half hour. I would play 5 holes. That's enough for me. 18 holes is nuts. I think. That's a whole fucking day.
You gotta play early there too.
You gotta play early. It's too hot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, farting in the CVS is one. What else? What other asshole moments do you have? I feel like you have a bunch because you were contemplating on which one to start with.
No, God, I know I've been an asshole.
Have you? What about when you were a kid? What kind of kid were you growing up?
I got picked on.
Yeah.
By the assholes.
Okay, so you had bullies.
I got bullied.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so nervous all the time. Don't I look like I'm nervous all the time?
You're neurotic.
That's my running through line.
Right.
I don't know. Actually, people say sometimes when I do stand up, you're so calm.
Well, you are very deadpan in your stand up.
Yeah.
If anyone, I have a clip here. I don't know if you want to play it.
Whatever you want.
All right, let's play it. Let's play a clip of Scott Krinsky's stand up, just so people can get a sense of his comedic stylings.
A lot of people don't know this about me, but it's not very obvious, but I am on the spectrum. I didn't even tell you what spectrum yet. I'm not on the autism spectrum. I'm not on the Comcast spectrum, or whatever that. Now I'm on the gay spectrum. Like 90, 10%, like some 90% gay, 10% straight. People don't really realize that about me, you know? Like my friends like to say, God damn, Scott, you're like a stealth gay. You come in like that undercover gay, and then you drop a big gay bomb on us. Should be pretty obvious, like if you know my history, like I played rugby, and I was on the swim team. Now if you do one of those, it doesn't mean you're gay. But if you like to wear a Speedo and play rugby where you don't have any equipment on, you're grabbing guys' balls, it's a good chance, you know, if you guys got kids, they're probably going to turn out to be gay.
I love that spectrum joke. I remember you doing that for live shows. It's always a good one.
Get back to those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm always nervous. I think my deadpan.
Right.
I think it partly comes out of being nervous.
Are you? I mean, yeah, being an actor. I mean, I'm nervous too. Like even as an actor, like I was a shy kid. Like, but then I always wanted to act and like do comedy and stuff. And it kind of translates in a weird way. Like I was always more comfortable like on stage, behind a camera, behind a microphone, whatever. But like when I go out, like I'm kind of a shy, introvert, extrovert kind of person.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because I like acting. I love stand up. I love being on a stage, but because you're sort of when you're on stage or when you're acting, you know, you're sort of transported into another.
Yeah.
You know, if you're hopefully getting into, if you're lucky enough, and it's always like trying to get into that space.
Right.
Well,
you're playing a character.
Unconscious of everything else around you and being completely zoned in on whatever you're doing. Then you forget, you know.
Yeah. It's such an interesting like release almost because it's like, you know, whether you're in a play playing a character, you're totally like in that character and you forget who you are for that hour and a half or whatever it is. Stand up, same thing. Like I think when my wife first saw me do stand up, and like, you know, she always knew I wanted to perform, and I've always been performing, you know, my whole life or whatever. But when she saw me do stand up for the first time, she was like, "Wow, you're like a totally different person like when you're on stage as opposed to like, you know, just being around, you know, real life or whatever, you know." And yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic. Like the shyness kind of goes away as soon as you step on stage or whatever.
But it is like, you know, there is. I think I'm always like I don't want to be like so sort of nervous all the time or whatever that energy is, you know. But it just so now like I just try to be present.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the thing about performing, whether it's acting or stand up. I don't think you ever have it figured out. You know, you're always, if you're not always learning about yourself and evolving and what does it mean to be present or present but in the moment, you know.
Yeah,
it's an ongoing process.
And I think like even like with your stand up, it's like you are so deadpan and you take your time with these, you know, these bits and you know, the times I've watched you perform, I'm always like, oh, where's he gonna go? Like, where's you know, and it's so interesting because it's like
it goes nowhere.
No, no, it goes somewhere. But like you take your time and like it lets the audience think about what you're saying, and then when you hit them with the punchline, it's like, oh, all right, you know, as opposed to like, you know, some people's style is just like, you know, over the top, you know, yelling and all that kind of shit.
And then if they don't get the punchline, I'm just like, well, you guys didn't get it.
Right.
My problem.
Well, because it's like yeah, like you almost make them feel awkward, and it's funny then because it's like it's so like, yeah. Do you do crowd work at all like during your shows?
I mean, I don't look to do
crowd
work,
but
well, some people love.
Some people love it, and that's all they do.
Love it, but and I don't like when I'm watching another comic and I see them doing crowd work. I get so nervous for them, but
yeah,
I feel like if you're the comedian, it always works in your favor. The person, you know, being a heckler always ends up looking like an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I did a lot of hosting for some shows, and that's kind of where I would do crowd work, if anything, because you're welcoming people to the show, you're commenting on who's sitting in the front, you're getting them loosed up for the show, and yeah, and then sometimes it's that first set as the host. It's always like this is it's always the hardest spot usually to go up at. So that's sometimes where crowd work, I think, for me at least, comes into play, being handy. So it's always interesting. When was the last stand-up show you did? Right before the pandemic? Is that?
Yeah, probably.
Are you going to start getting out there?
I want to.
Things are
Yeah.
opening.
I just got to get that mojo going again.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like starting over. It feels like, because I've gone up a couple times now. Like I went up at the Improv, the outdoor patio show / open mic that they're doing over there. Did like 3 or 4 minutes, and it was like the first time I went up, I was like, it was weird. There's only like 3 real tables in the front that have like audience members, and the rest is comics. So
and it's hard enough when open mics are the hardest.
Oh yeah.
Because you're just working out material in front of other comedians, and no one's really listening because they're waiting to go on.
Everyone's thinking of their own shit.
So then doing a show where, when there's not a lot of people, or that they're not really there listening to you, is even, it is. It's like starting over again.
It's weird. It's like and like I've been writing some new stuff and everything, but then I would like just go back to the old stuff. Like, let me just remember how to do this. Like, let me just say these old jokes out loud, or like see what works and get used to it again.
Yeah, like I've seen my clip there, and I haven't done that. Bit,
Right.
I mean, I'd have to.
And the other thing is like people, like a lot of people have like COVID material now, or pandemic kind of stuff, and it's like, all right, like how much pandemic material we're gonna have with all the comics coming out of this situation. And I get it, we've all been through it.
I mean, it's not over yet.
No, it's not over, but it's like we all.
Well, it is over depending on where you live.
Yeah, depending on where you live. Yeah, if you're vaccinated,
it's either over because you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that's the interesting thing about it, because it's like, I got to remember how to do these jokes in front of real people, and I don't know. It's gonna be weird. It's like we're starting live shows. We're doing a show tomorrow at the Comedy Chateau in North Hollywood. We're gonna be doing a weekly show there, so that'll be like the first, re-entrance, I guess, to the live comedy show. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting time, and getting audience out. Like, I don't know who's comfortable coming out to these shows.
Yeah, is everyone? It'll be outdoors, right?
It's outdoors. Yeah, for sure.
But then that's always like, I mean, I know comedy's, that's the way it's going to be for a while. It's all outdoors and the honking the horn for laughs and
the drive-in shows. And,
but that's where it just comes down to, like, do you enjoy performing and being on stage? And it's like it's almost like I'm just going to do my one-person show here, my stand-up, and if you like it, you like it. If you want to honk your horn,
right.
Or if I don't hear you laugh, I'll just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. We are speaking to actor Scott Krinsky from NBC's Chuck. If anyone has a question in Clubhouse, we have 3 people in here. If they want to raise their hand and jump on stage, feel free to do so. If not, that's cool too. I know we were just talking about being shy, like we are. So we get it. We get it. You may not want to jump on stage. It's all good. But if you do, do it. So when is the next? Are you auditioning a lot for projects? Is it acting stuff? Is it been slow for you?
No, it's been. I did a film right when the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
We just finished it, like literally with 3 days after sort of the lockdown started, and so I'm excited to see how that turns out.
That's good. Yeah.
And then I am auditioning. It's funny. I got an audition on the way here.
Oh, really? There you go.
So that's my night now, everyone.
Yeah, self-tape, right?
I'm gonna go home and learn lines.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Make a self-tape.
All right. So another asshole moment. You gotta have one more that you can give us.
Another asshole moment.
What about like dating, or I don't know, like some situation you found yourself in that you may have been like, oh man, I should Anything along those lines.
I might have, you're at a date and they go to the bathroom and look at their wallet or on the table.
So someone leaves their wallet.
Kind of nosy,
you go through their wallet. You've done that before. That's pretty funny.
Or tasted their food, like
this is a first date.
or any friend,
Any
like
friend,
go to the bathroom,
yeah.
and I ate some of their food, stuff like that.
Do you tell them when they come back out?
No,
I
try to make it look like I didn't,
It's like, what? Didn't I have a half of steak here? No, that was the size it was when I. No, I didn't eat that much, did I?
I just moved the mashed potatoes a little bit. So
right. You just blend it in.
Took a bite out of it.
What about going through someone's wallet? So that's interesting. So because if I think if I went through someone's like a purse or something like that, I don't know. I think that would be like if she found out like that.
I'm just curious, what people have.
Like what credit cards they carry.
It's weird stuff.
People's wallets are so skinny these days. I feel like was this back when people had pictures in their wallets?
I'll go through their medicine cabinet at their house.
Really? That's interesting. I think
pills-
I've done that before.
See what pills are taken.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Like I've thought of that. It's like oh my, if you have like a party or some people over, it's like and like are you supposed to move your medicine to like a private unless you have two bathrooms and you have like one in the bedroom or something where you keep your pills, medicine, drugs.
I get through like their dresser and see if there's like a vibrator stuck under the underwear or something.
So Scott is a pervert.
No, I'm nosy.
Nosy.
Curious. And it's not like I don't want to judge them.
No.
I'm just.
So if you like open their drawer and there's like sex toys and a vibrator and some thongs or crotches.
No, I'd have more respect for them,
Yeah.
Okay, good for them.
But then every time you see them, you're like, oh yeah, like they got this vibrator thing.
Yeah, good for them.
Double-sided vibrator, whatever. That's a nice little that's a nice little tidbit for you to have. Like when you see them, it's like, I got one on you. That's pretty funny, and it's like you think about that. It's like we have people at our place all the time, and I'm always like, man, I should put some shit away. It's like there's times I'll like leave like my wallet out on the fucking counter or like laugh. It's like it's like I know my friends, but it's just like I should put some stuff away. You never know.
But I don't like.
You never know who's snooping around.
I would never steal from anyone.
No.
I'm more just kind of nosy.
You kind of want to look like through.
Curious.
Like right now, you're looking in this room, and you see all these cabinets, and you want to know what's in there.
Like if you left this room right now, I'd probably
you'd go through everything.
Let's not got all these cabinets.
What is in there? Yeah. Yeah, I mean that is kind of fun. I mean, we are curious what other people have for sure. And it's like, or when you have people over, it's like everyone's in the living room or the dining room, the kitchen. It's like there's rooms of the house, the apartment that are like off limits for guests.
Oh, one time I cooked this meal, and I remember I took it out of the oven and it all fell on the floor. And
what was it?
It was fish.
You had a bunch of guests over?
Yeah, I had a few friends over, and I didn't have time to cook it again, so I was like, well, it's hot. All the heat from it is gonna kill all the bacterial.
So you just replated it.
Did
you wash it off?
No, you can't. It was already cooked. Take all the spices. But luckily, my place is really clean.
It's really very clean.
Yeah, I'm pretty neurotic.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like I go out for these characters that are like crazy and disheveled.
Yeah.
Guys. And the thing is, I grew up in I'm Jewish. My mother, obsessive, crazy, Jewish mother, right? And so our house was spotless, and I am like that. Like I'm very neurotic.
Yeah,
about,
you keep a clean house.
I keep a clean house.
Yeah.
Good hygiene.
Right.
Even though I don't that's not like what people would think from characters that I played.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's just funny.
It's funny. It's funny. Now, do you have any like super fans? Have you gone to any of these like conventions where like people like Chuck convention or like TV convention? Like, I don't know.
Well, I went to Comic-Con
Comic-Con,
and
okay,
some other cons over the years. I went to Europe once.
Okay.
I did this thing in Germany with somebody from Star Trek, and I met some people dressed in my Moore uniform.
As your character.
Like kind of like you'd see the Geek Squad at
Right.
Best Buy. What I wore
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
character. Yeah, and that's always fun.
That's kind of cool. Yeah. Have you had any crazy fan situation, like some weird people hitting you up, finding you, anything like that?
Well, I remember like when I first started the show, I wasn't, I had never. This was like the biggest thing for me in the beginning, and I remember I wasn't used to being recognized.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I'd go to the bank or something and see someone like staring at me. I was like, and I get really flattered, like thinking, "Oh man, I'm getting checked out."
Yeah.
And then I started realizing, like, oh no, they just know me from the show. They don't think I'm hot or anything.
That's got to be an interesting thing to like especially when that show was on and started becoming a big hit. It's like, people slowly start like acknowledging, recognizing you on the street, all that stuff. It's like I had someone today like message me like, "Oh my God, Scott Krinsky's gonna be on the show. Like, tell him I said hello." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I will." It's like so they say hello.
Hey.
Yeah.
But it's still interesting with streaming and everything is people find. I mean, I'm catching up on old shows that I never saw.
Right.
And people are finding Chuck
a
the
new
first
life
time.
for Chuck. Yeah.
And nobody, younger kids, whatever age that is, teenagers, people in their early 20s, I don't know. Nobody, they don't think about necessarily when this show is made.
Right.
You have to think they're home browsing their Netflix or browsing Hulu or Amazon,
and
they
pops
just
up.
find a show that sounds interesting to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really thinking about, oh, is this new? Is this old? They just know that they haven't seen it.
They haven't seen it.
So sometimes people message me as if we're still filming.
Right.
They have no idea. That show ended in 2012.
Right, unless if they pull out their iPad and do some research. Yeah.
So that's what's kind of cool about streaming. Like think about all the people you hear that are like watching The Office for the first time.
That's been the interesting thing about the pandemic. It's like, I've known people that are like, watching The Sopranos for the first time, like The Office, like all Seinfeld, all these old shows, and they're like, I've never seen it, and like I'm guilty of that too because it's like there's so many shows and material now to watch. It's like now's a good time to catch up on it if you have nothing else to do or whatever, So, I mean, a new life for Chuck and for all these kind of shows.
I remember someone like I was in Boston once, and somebody like came up to me and asked me if I wanted to do like I forget it was like smoke some weed and something else like which I would do that, but it was something else, and he was like I don't know, it was.
Some other drug?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just gonna walk with you to your apartment right now.
Sounds safe. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you got to be careful. You never know. Like, it's like I've had some people message me like on Instagram just from this podcast. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's like there's been some weird messages that have come in. I'm like, oh, it's all right. Especially with Instagram now. It's like, anyone could just message you and hit you up for whatever. So it's like. It is a weird time where people can directly talk to you, being a fan or whatever. Where back in the day, that wasn't a thing. So
it's nice. It's nice too. Sometimes, depending on what day you get me, going to bed and fall asleep, I'll answer people.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, living next to you for 8 years. I mean, you were always in a good mood. I know that.
1 in the morning
here,
and it's 5 in the afternoon. Senegal.
Right, exactly. Well, Scott, you really put yourself out there today on the Asshole Show. We learned a lot about you. We learned that you may fart in a CVS and disguise it, walk away and disguise it so someone else gets blamed for it, and then secretly enjoy that result from far away. So if you see Scott in a CVS and recognize him and Chuck,
smell apart.
Yeah, don't approach him, or maybe wait a minute and then approach him for a selfie or whatever. So beware, we're warning you now. We're giving out secrets of Scott Krinsky today. We also learned that you may go through someone's wallet or purse if you go out to dinner with them. If you have Scott over to your home for a gathering, be sure to put your pills and the medicines in a drawer locked somewhere, because Scott may be curious.
Hey, Doug, am I an asshole?
No, you're curious. You want to know. You want to know what's behind that closet, like we all do. I get it. And then we also learned that if Scott invites you over for dinner, you may be eating food that was on the floor at one point, because he's got Butterfingers over there. Yeah, but no, Scott is not an asshole, but he was at certain moments, I would say. So the way we end the show is by stating your name and saying that you're an asshole. So, Scott, the floor is yours.
I'm Scott Krinsky, and I'm an asshole.
There you go, folks. Scott Krinsky, and he's an asshole, but he came on the show today and he redeemed himself, so he can go in peace. Scott, thank you for coming on to I'm an Asshole. I appreciate you coming into the studio and doing this. Make sure you check out Scott on his Instagram at Scott_Krinsky. Make sure you watch Chuck. It's streaming everywhere now. What, Netflix, Amazon? I don't know what it is.
One of the.
It's on one of the services that you pay for, and we know you have them all. So just look for Chuck. Check out the movie Tangerine. It's a great film. What else have you been? You've been in a bunch of stuff. The O.C. Weren't you in the O.C.? Yeah.
Dave Made a Maze is a really great film.
Yeah. So check out Scott
Good indie films.
and look at Scott's stand-up on YouTube. He's got some clips up there, and he's going to be performing again at some point. What else, Scott? You want to talk about anything else? You want to plug anything else?
I'm going to be performing soon.
Yeah.
Check out my. You'll see it on my Instagram, Facebook, wherever. I'll be out there soon. I'll be happy to see you. And
he will be performing at a comedy venue
near
you very soon. All right. Well, Scott, thanks again for coming in. It's good seeing you as always. Guys, don't forget to follow us on social media at A-Hole Podcast and subscribe to the podcast. If you like the show, tell 2 friends, all right? We're trying to get the numbers up, so I appreciate that. And check out the full videos on YouTube at Doug Bass Comedy or at A-Hole Podcast. And remember, folks, don't be an a-hole, but if you are, laugh about it. Bye.